She pulled me from the depths. Now she drags me back every time I try to leave. I remember the exact moment the lake took me. The stillness of the water, the fog curling over Derwent Water in the early morning, and the sheer awful silence. Right before my foot slipped on the wet rock ledge and the cold swallowed me whole. I remember choking on silt, reaching for a root or a hand, anything, and then I remember her. A girl, maybe in her 20s, with silver hair that floated like seaweed and eyes so pale they didn't look human. She didn't swim, she glided beneath the surface and held me in her arms like I weighed nothing. I blacked out. When I came to, I was on the lakeshore, soaked, heart pounding, with no one around. Locals said I was lucky. You could have drowned, they said. That lake's taken dozens, but I wasn't lucky. I was chosen. I returned the next day and the next. I told myself it was curiosity, but truthfully, I was obsessed. I kept dreaming of her, the girl in the water. She had no name, but in the dreams, she whispered mine like she'd known me for lifetimes. I started seeing her in reflections, in puddles, in the way the moon rippled on the lake at night. When I sat at the edge, I felt her presence like a warm breath on my neck. And then, one night, she returned. I was walking along the shore at dusk, the sky bleeding into the water, when she rose from the lake like a mist, barefoot, wearing a soaked, vintage white dress that clung to her body like it had grown from her skin. Her voice was soft, echoey. You came back. I told her I had to see her again, that she'd saved me. She touched my cheek, and her skin was cold as riverstone. No, she said, you're still drowning. She kissed me, and I felt myself falling, not physically, but into something deeper, a connection, a curse. That night, I slept in my cabin and dreamt of drowning again. But this time, I wasn't afraid. I was with her. I was in love. I stopped calling my family, stopped checking my emails. I barely ate. I spent my days waiting for her to appear and my nights sleeping by the lake. My mate Joe came up from Manchester to check on me and found me waist deep in the water, talking to no one. You need help, Elias, he said, but he couldn't see her. They never could. She told me they wouldn't understand. They'll try to take you from me, she said, holding my hand beneath the waves. You belong here. When I told her I wanted to go back home just for a weekend, her mood shifted. The lake froze over the next morning, even though it was July. Birds dropped dead on the shore. And that night, she came to my cabin, furious, dripping wet, dragging water across the floor. You promised, she whispered, her voice echoing with ancient sorrow. You said you loved me. I tried to leave the next day. Packed my bags, drove to the main road, but my car wouldn't start. Not even the tow truck could reach me. No signal, no escape. She was waiting by the lake again that evening. This time not as a girl, but something else. Her skin cracked in places like scales. Her eyes completely black. Stay, she said, or drown. I ran. But every time I fell asleep, I woke up soaking wet, lake mud in my bed. I couldn't remember walking there, but the footprints always led from the cabin to the shore. I realized she was calling me in my sleep, possessing my body, dragging me back. Joe came again, this time with 2 other friends. We tried to leave together. At the edge of the village, their car slid into the ditch and caught fire. They all made it out alive, but not without burns. They never came back. I stopped trying after that. She began calling me husband, began speaking of a wedding beneath the lake, where vows are sealed in drowning. I tried killing myself to end it. Took pills, opened veins, but each time I woke up by the water, alive. "You can't die," she said. "You're already mine." One day, I met an old woman in the village, nearly blind, who asked if I'd seen the lake bride. When I told her yes, she made the sign of the cross. "She takes the broken ones," she said, "calls it love, but it's hunger." She drowned before her wedding. Now she binds herself to men who remind her of him. I asked how many. "Too many to count," she whispered, "and none ever leave." I wanted to hate her, the thing in the lake, but I couldn't. She was everything I ever wanted. Beautiful, tragic, devoted, except I had no choice. It wasn't love anymore. It was a prison with kisses. It's been 2 years. I haven't aged. I still see my reflection, but sometimes it isn't me. It's her, looking back, smiling. Every full moon, she drags me into the lake and holds me under just long enough to forget who I was. Then she lets me go, just to remind me I belong to her. And if you ever see a man on the shore staring into the fog, screaming silently, don't help him, it's already too late. She saves you from drowning, yes, but only so she can keep you close forever.